there's a Bleach restaurant somewhere?
Yeah, I remember reading on Leah's page that like Kubo was like live tweeting him eating at a Blue Restaurant where they like Kenpachi ice cream and like Ichigo strawberries and it was
I don't even want to know what
Delicious.
that is because,
it,
Japanese, the way they
all
do
the,
food is kind of.
no I think it was literally like regular food styled into like faces and stuff. I don't know.
Mm,
I don't think that they like oh now it tastes like Kenpachi or whatever. It tastes like
Spicy
bloodlust.
meatballs.
Yeah, spicy meatballs. All right, well
Okay, son, get it started. Get
Oh,
it
sorry, I
going.
already started recording. I
you
started
did.
recording whenever you were talking about the Bleach restaurant.
Oh, okay, well, all right. Welcome back to the Bleach podcast. Food
Food. Sorry, yeah, we were talking about food, and yeah, sorry.
and the Avengers and language
God,
and
it's awesome. Sorry.
yeah. Anyway, CJ Voltron. All right. Now that'll be $20,000, Marvel. Um. Anyway. We're back for chapter 625, Living Jaguar or Ribbing Jaeger, depending on how you want to pronounce that. Uh.
Jaguar. Who says Jagger?
Uh, in this one anime I'm watching, they pronounce the English word jaguar as Jaeger.
Well,
Jagger?
apparently people don't know how to speak English. So,
No, no, of course not. I mean, have you looked at answers? Good God.
Yeah, we will later.
yeah.
All right. Well,
So,
I'm Sil.
so
I'm George.
Okay,
Actual
and
son. Yeah, sorry.
actual son. Do not no accept no substitutes. And we're back for the long-awaited chapter 625. Oh boy. Well, it was worth it. So let's go through it. So first, start off with Grimjow, and an actually quite good cover page. It's been a long time since we've had a cover page that's been like, outside the context of the main story. It hasn't been just like, oh, panels from the story with English text thrown over it. Because I didn't know this until the manga machine version came out, but it actually has like a panther behind Grimjow, like a spirit one, which looks pretty sick. That's
No,
all.
it looked fine. It looked good. Oh, right. Sorry. Only two.
Yeah, it's sick in the American context, and that was just my 2 cents. So anyway, Grimjow has not changed a bit because he wants to fight Ichigo, and
Dun,
that's
dun,
I
dun.
think that that part in there is very. I mean, that whole thing was very telling. But go
oh
ahead.
yeah, yeah. No, I don't think he was. There was him like, oh, I'm like a pacifist now. No, he's Grimjow, and
I love the whole yo, your scars healed, and it's like, well, aren't scars actual things that have healed? Aren't they? What? Wouldn't you
I
mean
don't
like
know.
wounds have healed? Wounds
Yeah,
just healed.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just like a weird translation thing, but anyway,
No, they don't do that, do they? Weird translation things.
well, like it might be just like taking a translation too literally. Like that's not like an uncommon thing for the speed scans.
Hmm.
So I don't know, but anyway, moving on to the important part. Nell's back, and I
He's
I I
back.
I I haven't I'm not like I can't profess to be like an amazing super huge fan of hers like Lemurs, but I yelled out loud when she showed up on page 6 because
Fully adult.
yes, and I felt it
Adulterated.
coming. I felt it coming somehow. I was reading the previous page and like, okay, when's Nell gonna show up? Oh, there she is.
But
And she tackles Ichigo like a pro football player, and that's
Oh
but
yeah,
I
that's the
thought
scene
the
you couldn't
whole
decide if she was jealous or what.
situation was very telling and stuff like that. You see Grimjaw, he has not, besides his clothes, nothing really about him has changed. His mentality, personality is still the same. That's expected. No surprise there. What was a surprise is Nell shows up and he gets into a little whatever with her,
oh
and
yeah.
I mean, it kind of confirms for me exactly what I thought is that there likely has not been any advance in Grimjaw or anything like that. Um, because the insinuation there in their conversation is that Nell is more powerful than him.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
they make reference to their Espada numbers, and his only rebuke to that is, well, we're not under Aizen anymore, so it kind of doesn't matter. But I mean, it's pretty
Knowing the
much
fact she
telling.
killed still kick your
Yeah,
ass.
yeah, it's still pretty
Yeah.
much still pretty much common sense that she regardless of whether or not demoted or because of her situation or whatever, she's Espada number 3. She points that out to him, pretty much denoting that she's more powerful than him. He's only still 6, and even compared to her, and he's probably still the same old daggone Grimjaw, just not
Yeah.
dead. So
Yeah,
Dead.
not dead, which was confirmed way back when.
yeah,
But
so
but
you know.
but what I wanted to point out is, aside from the whole well, first of all, I like that we have a decent explanation for why she's an adult again, because Urahara, and Urahara is like an answer to most things.
I know,
And
but it's just such a
It's
cop out
because
though. It's such a plot line
Orihime could
sometimes.
not
A
use her
cop out?
abilities to reverse her daggone her whole situation, which really makes no sense. You can heal injuries, you can daggone restore arms that have been broken or destroyed or cut off. You can daggone freaking bring somebody back from the dead and restore their body even though it's been blasted in daggone fucking pieces. But you can't daggone transform this daggone person back to a fucking adult.
Well, there's no indication. Hey. There's no like indication that she tried and failed. It's more like, oh, Urahara's like, oh, you're a kid. Let's fix that.
More like she
How
didn't
did he
try at
know
all.
she was an adult?
The insinuation is she didn't try at all.
Probably because I believe
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Orihime saw it. Blah. Anyway,
Yorihara was not there. Orihime was there when she became an adult.
Yeah, and Orihime was with him for a while.
It was,
like-
I
like
suppose
3
Orihime
days.
was only with Nell for a while because Stark came and kissed Orihime and
No,
dragged her off.
I mean in this arc, Chad and Orihime were hanging out with Urahara for 3 days before they showed up in Soul Society. They were with they were in Wakamundo, which is where Nell was
Yes,
also.
where Nell was. And
Yeah.
that's my whole thing is that Orihime had time after they saved after the Wakamundo thing with Aizen, after the fight with Aizen, she had time when she was in Wakamundo
For
in this
Haribel.
arc with yeah, she had time when she was in Wakamundo with Yorihara and everything like that. So
Well,
she pretty much did nothing.
well, what matters is that she's back, and that's what everyone wanted, and so there.
What matters is Orihime is still useless.
Orihime
Still
saved everyone when they were
useless
falling
and still
down.
apparently getting angsty over stuff as usual.
Yeah.
I think
couldn't
she-
fix the Soul King. She couldn't heal Nell. What is she good for?
Well, she just brought back Thing's arm again.
Well,
Oh, well.
if I may, just speaking of Orihime, I found it hilarious that she was freaking out over Nell being back, because for one of 2 reasons. One, she's jealous. 2, she thought like, oh wait, did Urahara turn back into her busty self because he's a fucking pervert?
Well,
I don't know if she's jealous. I just know that obviously she's thinking.
Oh
that
no,
was-
another person with big boobs hugging on my Ichigo.
Because Chad was implying that pretty heavily, like, oh, Urahara's in the right place, I think.
No,
usually.
that's what I'm saying. He was implying really more so that he's doing it because of her boobs kind of thing, and he's going like, no, stop it. But I don't
No,
know
don't worry.
if it's so much that she's jealous kind of
Alright,
thing.
and-
Because remember, she did get really embarrassed whenever Yoruichi was all like, what the hell, what outfit have you got her in, kind of thing.
Yeah, but oh yeah. Speaking of which, Nell has actual clothes this time.
I know it's not tits.
and have a cleavage split, which is
I know there's no breasts.
surprising.
It's not a boob outfit. Obviously she has
Well-
boobs. That's
well, like-
fine.
well,
It's
like,
not a boob
they are-
outfit.
they are kind of accentuated because they have those like things on the other side.
What, shoulder pads?
No. On the other side of her boobs, they have like these like extra things, which might just be like, they might just be like support, but like they are kind of
Possibly they are
accentuated.
quite
But
big.
oh yeah, really. I thought they were like bumps, really. No. But moving on from the sick burn of, I don't recall a number 6 giving orders to number 3. We have well, that's not my point. I'm building up. Full bangers are back. The
Chapter. Sorry.
Other ones, Ririka and Yukio, and that was something I didn't see coming at all, because I thought we was gonna have the other 3, but nope, we got the remaining 2 that still have powers.
Do you know how I know she was going to be there? Because someone put it in the Skype channel, kept up on my phone. No, it didn't actually. No, it didn't. No, my computer
Uh,
turned on and that was the first screen that was up, and I saw you had edited Rubuka's page, so I knew she was going to be there.
oh, well, okay, well that you cannot possibly blame me for that. Like, I didn't
I
try to
know. I'm
spoil you.
kidding.
I was just,
I'm
but yeah,
kidding. Guys,
that
I can't
was
remember, and I'm too lazy to look. Someone said last week that spoilers did not happen. If any of you remember, tell me, please.
I that might have been in whatever. But anyway, I am, you know, we talk shit about manga streams translations a lot, like because because even though they might be more accurate content wise, they are horrendous when it comes to like tone and stuff. And they literally had Ruka
While
say,
we're reaping.
no, yes, that too, but what? But so she says, like, hurry your asses up. What part of hurry and asses did I not make clear? Because you know, hurry and asses. That makes so much sense.
I'm having a problem with and.
Yeah, honestly. And then they had just gratuitous swearing with Ichigo because like he may be a kind of a punk, but he's not like super coarse. And let's see, he has he
Did
says
you
like
realize in the anime he says Temme every 10 seconds, right? Temme.
yeah yeah, but like to an
Temme.
enemy, he's talking to Yoriichi. I'm gonna call Yoriichi Temme. Jesus
Temme.
Christ,
Temme.
Temme. No, but like I swear to God, like I read manga change translation and I thank whatever deities may exist that they didn't translate the earlier parts of Bleach, like the Soul Society arc and the early Wake of Mundo arc, because I know exactly how they would translate his dialogue. They would translate it like this.
Well, maybe you should have told me you had more of us running around. Not to mention some fat shit insane mad scientist motherfucker. I'm about to strangle you with your own guts, asshole.
Relax, Scott. Your location is top secret.
Sure it is. Until I eat your brain. What a hope, hero. I don't want to prove anything. Enough of your fucking weird, fucking rambling shit!
There's no fucking off. I got a fucking swoopy line key. I got a fucking key with a triangle on it. What the fuck kind of keyboard is this anyway?
Southpaw? I'm sitting in for Catapult 4-1. Brawler just bit his head off, wouldn't you know it?
Yeah, that happens a lot around here.
The doctor is out, motherfucker!
I think you get the picture.
Who is it? Well, I don't understand it. Who is all that?
That's James Heller from Prototype 2.
Okay. What is it?
And-
Until I eat your brains?
Yeah, you're safe until I eat your brains, and that like they would have him saying like I'll kill you, motherfucker, every 5 minutes. Like
Okay.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
that happens.
But yeah, they'd make him James Heller. That's what I'm trying to say. But good God. Anyway, but moving on to the even more shocking, the Fullbringers, the Valley of Screams is canon, and that was something I didn't think was gonna happen in a million years.
I'm fine with that. It's just as long as they don't kind of bring out the sharing Sanbakto spirits as canon. That
I'm
would annoy me.
I'm not like I'm not against it. It was just surprising because like I have never known an anime or manga series with like non-canon movies like Bleach has to make an element from one of those movies just canon suddenly. And it is and to be fair, like this is a bit different from the Valley of Screams in the first movie because like there are multiple of them and like it's like part of the Garganta and whatever. But
Oh yeah, they always stretch it out in the movies, always, yeah.
yeah, in the movies, like they kind of just introduced it, and they probably didn't know that Kubo was gonna be like, "All right, I want it, give me." So, but yeah, so I guess that's why their Ankar are useful. Besides combat, they use Garganta and there's
What is
then
it, Discord?
Descoel Carrera.
Discord.
I don't know how to pronounce Spanish. I don't know how to pronounce French, and then the R's are silent on that. But
Sorry.
yeah, Descarre. But so yeah, the explanation was a bit confusing at first, but basically they took Valley of Screams, put it in a box, gave it rails in a room, and that's how they're gonna warp to the palace and make a sneak attack. So there you go. What do you guys think? Nothing? Goodness.
Yeah, thanks for joining us this week. Okay, ciao.
We haven't gotten to the end of the chapter yet.
Sorry, Sal?
I mean, all that seemed fairly reasonable. I mean,
What are you
Yes.
playing? You're playing a game, aren't you?
no, the whole thing with using Rurika and Yukio, it makes sense. Given how their powers work, it would make sense for, you to seek them out. It just, what really just like dawned on me at this moment though was the fact that they're mentioning this, and who did what's her name? Who did Yoruichi say this was all a plan of?
Urahara?
Yorahara,
Well,
right?
yeah, obviously.
I presume that's who
And
you're talking about.
what's really interesting about this is that this didn't seem like much of a plan
Oh shit, we got hit
it
in the
happened.
face.
Until it happened. And it's like, okay, so is there's plans happening that nobody seems to know about?
Even though an Urahara is panicking as well, even
Yeah,
though he has
your
plans in
horror
place.
seems to be kind of lost in this whole situation and just pretty much winging it at this point. But apparently, he had this plan.
Apparently, I have a feeling this might be like a backup plan, if anything.
I just find it kind of odd that
like-
this plan comes out of somewhat nowhere. Like, I don't feel like it was a plan that was planned. I think it was just something that Koopa was like, oh yeah, this is what's happening.
Oh yeah, I meant to bring Grim Joe
Well,
back.
Which kind of explains the Valley of Screams thing, because what other usage is there for that? Like,
Yeah, the Valley of Screams is where the real Soul King resides.
I didn't
and
understand the
they're
usage
there.
for it. Why didn't they just make a Garganta and open up there, since
Yeah,
apparently they can
like,
open up anywhere?
Because apparently,
this is basically what I was
like,
saying last time. Like, you see how this doesn't make any sense, right?
Mhm.
wait, guys, hold on, hold your horses, hold all of them. So you're asking why they don't make a Garganta just directly to the Soul Palace, right? They said why. They said that they want to make a sneak attack, which would involve not like
Wait.
exerting any of their Ryatsu.
I'm gonna tell you why that shit does not matter and it doesn't make any
They
sense.
still have to open up a Garganta anyway.
Because
Yeah, but no, wait.
even if they
Oh
did that,
right,
they're
I
not
see,
making-
I see.
they're not making a sneak attack against somebody they can make a sneak attack against. Like, it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, this is the Almighty we're talking about. It's Jesus.
You might as well just go head on. I don't understand exactly what you think you're gonna accomplish by a sneak attack. Oh, they're not gonna knock us off the roof this time? Like, like
You're implying that Block cares enough to tell them, like, oh, by the way, they're going to show up there in 5 minutes, so just be prepared.
no, but he already knows that they're going to show up, number one. Number two, it doesn't make any difference if they make a sneak attack.
Whatever. I don't care.
Like, that's my...
I stopped
This is
trying
coming
to...
from you. You do realize today, was it today you were talking about, oh, but you were going to tell him everything about everything anyway.
You said
Yeah,
that.
but Uri doesn't have the Almighty.
No, here's the thing. This is see, for everybody out there who don't know, me and Zeal got into a conversation earlier today.
Wait, hold on.
Ziwu.
Wait, hold on. There's a difference between Block telling people shit and Uri telling people shit. Like,
Wait,
Block doesn't give a fuck.
People need to understand the nuances of this conversation.
Nuance is my
My
ass.
point was, I understand why Rurika and Yukio, even though this kind of plan just seems kind of out of the blue and kind of stupid, but it makes somewhat sense considering what they're trying to accomplish. And the reason why they're using these two people with these specific abilities, it makes sense. My issue is that they are perfect for that in the context of what is currently happening. What I don't understand is, first of all, why is Kugo, Groko, whatever his name is, and Tsukushima still walking
Jericho.
around protected by the Shibas and brought into the situation, and we have not seen them, mind you, but we know that they're there somewhere, wherever, and they're not any redeemed guys or anything like that. They pretty much should be in hell for all intents and purposes for what
The
they
only one
did
that
while
maybe shouldn't be in hell is Tsukushima, because he was technically manipulated his whole life since he was a child.
that's questionable.
So,
But
We see
but
him get introduced to Kugo as a child. He's like, hey.
a sociopath before that.
No, he wasn't. He was sitting there crying child in the corner. Was it bad tree?
I don't recall that being what's going on. I recall that somebody's a sociopath doesn't get made into one; they just are. um, but like Geen, sociopath. But my whole point was is that I don't see a point for them, especially considering that they don't have any useful purpose like Rurika and Yukio do. And not only that, but the only one that is combat capable is pretty much Tsukishima because the way his abilities work in and outside of battle. Like he would be a danger to the elite guard or anybody, he's going to cut them and stuff, and he'll know how their powers work, their weaknesses. He can manipulate their minds, get them to kill each other if necessary. Like there's a whole bunch of things that can work out to his advantage of using him in the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Zill points out that, oh, well, Yuryu probably told them about him and da-da-da-da-da. And I said, well, logically, that doesn't make any sense because, first of all, Yuryu would believe that Tsukishima's dead, number one.
Wait, no, I didn't say he... Alright,
We're not around.
I said if Tsukishima's still be like, oh, by the way, that's Tsukishima, he'll fuck your shit up, don't get near him.
And I
but we know what Uryu's like. It takes about 10 minutes to tell someone anything.
Yeah, first of all, we're in Bleach. Have we ever seen anybody do a, play-by-play, at the minute of daggone altercation about what somebody else can do, so that person will have that information before they get into daggone battle.
Yeah,
it just doesn't happen.
Point of reference when Hitsugaya stabbed Momo. It was like, oh, by the way, don't do that.
Yeah.
Oh, right, you just did that.
Short of don't do it, they don't really get into no explanation. And even if they did explain, it's not like Tsukishima's going to stand there and allow himself to get shot to death by arrows and stabbed to death by swords and stuff like that. He's going to use his abilities, whatever, to get in close and cut you, regardless of what you do. And they're not going to think anything of it because they're going to register him as a regular human. And the likelihood of him having any intel on him is about as likely as they having any real intel when it came before they did the invasion in the first place. Because everything they seemed to have was basic general information. They didn't have any real specific information about most of the Shinigami, and this guy is a full-bringer. He was a human at that, not really on their radar. And not to mention, Yuryu got very minute information of his association with Tsukishima. He does not have the full picture of what this guy is capable of, nor I doubt anybody went out their way like Byakuya to tell him. So he's pretty much running on the operational awareness of, I saw this daggone silhouette of guy, chased after him. Next thing you know, I was in the hospital. I got out the hospital. Ichigo was fighting Kugo and them, and I got involved in that fight. But for the most part, he wasn't anywhere near Tsukishima. So most he'll say, don't mess with that guy. Something's weird about him. He messed up my memory or some shit like that.
Which would be enough. To be fair.
Would be enough for them to say.
But it's not just memory. Remember, he changes the history.
Yeah, and not only that, but it would not be enough based on the fact that you got to remember what you're dealing with. You're dealing with Quincy, these self-righteous, all-important, arrogant guys who think that they're better and more powerful and holier than thou than everybody else. That there are some grand mission, yada 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 yada. So while he may not be able to take out Bach necessarily, the elite guard are pretty much up for daggone grabs, and as we have seen multiple occasions, that they have no problem turning on each other like a pack of wolves.
The elite guard? You mean the Sternritter, not the elite guard.
Well, they're still Sternritter.
The Sternritter.
Yeah, but we see like at the very least Gerard gives a fuck about other people.
He hasn't really done much. He's actually more. I would say he's more annoying on that. Like, what's up with you? kind of thing.
Well, let's see. He caught Bernita. He was all like, "Hey, Uryu, I like you. You're cool." And then in this chapter, he's like, "Oh, don't worry. His Majesty will be all cool."
Yeah,
and
if it wasn't for
I know,
ability
sociopath. Whatever. God damn.
No, if it wasn't for Tsukishima's ability to manipulate your memory and your consciousness, and you can make Gerard think everybody's daggone turning against Bach. Next thing you know, he's killing daggone his own comrades. You see how this works? Wait, which way you play it out.
Sal, hold on. Let me stop you there. Tsukishima can't just change all your memory. He can put himself into your memory. Doesn't mean, he's going to make all your...
He changes the history of an object is what he does. Just
Yeah,
it works on the grind and it works on things.
Yeah, but that's because he put himself into the past and said, "Oh, I was here in the past. I cut it and made a platform out of it, or whatever." He just, and everyone he's caught, he hasn't made them like, he hasn't made them
Yeah,
say,
and
"Oh,
he could put
Ichigo was the
himself
bad
in his
guy."
past, saying that, yeah, these guys have been, plotting against the, Bach for years and stuff like that, and they're just waiting for their opportunity to attack him or whatever. I mean, he could plan anything, and he can be the sole
That doesn't seem
reason
like what he does.
behind
It's more like he
manipulation.
replaces someone in the past. Like when when he cut Byakuya, it's like, oh, I'm the one who taught you your techniques instead of Byakuya being the one who taught himself his techniques. When he cut Chad and Orihime, it's like, oh, I'm the one who defeated Aizen instead of Ichigo, or
Yes,
whatever.
he could be like, I'm the one that Dagon speaks for the Emperor, and he says these guys are expendable, so kill them.
I don't think that's how it works.
Oh, now it's not how that works, but that's exactly what you just said.
No, it's not, Sal.
He could no. Yes, it is because look.
Sal.
You're not
It's not
listening to
changing
what
the
I'm
action.
saying.
You're not listening to
listening
me.
to what I'm saying. You're not listening to what I'm saying at all. I'm
Not listening to
saying
me
is
either.
he can
Jesus.
put himself. You're not listening to what I'm saying because you want yourself to be right. He can put himself in the past of the person he cuts. He can put them in. He could put them in a situation, basically making it seem like to them, oh, I'm the guy that speaks for Dagon Bach. I'm the second hand
Yeah,
of
well,
our
he done
king.
that for Orihime. He made
Yeah,
it seem
I'm
like
the second hand of our king, and you can trust me because we've been together all these years, and you know me, and so forth and so on. These guys are plotting to daggone, kill our emperor or turn against him. You should kill him. And he'd go ahead and be like, yeah, you see, I trust you, I believe you, and go ahead and do something or whatever and stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying, oh yeah, he can make you do such a. I'm saying he can change around your past so that you become somebody that he trusts or implants
yeah, like for
himself in
Orihime,
your
he
history.
plants himself. He makes him actually his brother, her brother. Like he takes the place of her brother in her memories.
Oh, God, fuck. All right, that's what you're saying. Fine, whatever.
Yeah, it's like you can either he's
I
taken.
thought you were saying, oh, he put himself in the past saying blah, 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 Surrender, blah, blah, betray, blah, blah.
No, he's making them
Oh,
trust
all right,
him because
whatever.
like they're going,
Moving on
why?
from
Because remember Orihime was like, why are you hurting him?
moving on from the fucker who wasn't even in this chapter
Sorry.
to the to
Well,
to
blame the chapter that brought up Fullbringers.
yeah, because I'm gonna blame Kubo because he brought back Ruruka, and now we're gonna talk about Tsukishima because those two are just
Well, it wasn't
just
like they were
brother and
related.
sister,
Well, they're
just
Fullbringers.
brother and sister, totally. Anyway,
What's the
anyway,
wrestling cell? What are you eating? I'm nosy. What are you eating? You and crisps?
Eating anything? I dropped something. Oh, there it is.
anyway,
You
moving on
dropped
from
something?
that,
Is that why your head's under the table or
and
something?
moving on from that highly awkward
I dropped
conversation.
something. Hold on, I'm under here. Sorry.
Two things that matter. One, the surrender can actually chill, although Gerard managed to knock over a desk before he sat down on his couch, and Askin's eating fruit, and Leo's cleaning his rifle, and it's incredibly casual for such bloodthirsty murderers. And two, Bach absorbed the Soul King fully, and blah blah, he's Jesus.
He's
There.
Jesus.
That
I'm Jesus.
that just more confirms for me. I feel like the way that this is going is that this was all. I mean, it's just like really reaffirming this for me. Like it's all a setup. It would just have to be because it's like, you know what it reminds me of. I'm gonna get into a really detailed explanation, but it also explains where my screen name comes from.
Oh
Oh
goodness.
yeah, you gotta explain that. You never have. Where does that come from?
The story of
So-
all wanted to hear.
Once upon a time in the what was known as
hell.
the world of
Hell.
no, what is known as the world of darkness. In this world, basically, it's like regular life and stuff like that, except it's more of a biblical leaning to it, where Cain is the first murder, killed his brother, right?
Wow.
Well, in the storyline, Cain kills his brother, and then God curses him, sevenfold, whatever, and nobody can kill him, all that other stuff. So he goes out, and as the story goes, during his time wandering the earth, God sends various angels from Raphael and Uriel and Gabriel and stuff like that to ask Cain to repent for what he did, and each time Cain said, yeah, fuck you. I'm not repenting. And each time the angel cursed him even further. And the last angel to appear to him asked him to repent, which is Gabriel, and he said no. And then Gabriel was like, okay, well, you made your thing, but he said, I'm gonna give you a way out. All my brothers have cursed you, you know, to these various different things. He said, I'm gonna give you a way out, and it's called Galakonda, which is basically like Nirvana, trying to reach a higher state, if you were like Buddhist or whatever. It's like kind of like Nirvana, and it's kind of like you pretty much center yourself, pretty much do anything that a Buddhist would do. Pretty much is kind of like that version. But essentially, what all these curses became were it turned Cain into the first vampire.
Ooh.
Oh.
And Cain becomes the first vampire, and he gets lonely eventually. So he decides that he needs to have a family of sorts. So he sires, 3 children, 3 or 4, depending on the source. And the three children in turn, they're the second generation of vampires, and 3 children in turn make the third generation of vampires. And there's multiple third generations. Each one of the 3 makes like 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever. And those third generation vampires become the founders of the vampire clans. Each vampire clan has a different mentality. The personality is pretty much of the clan is determined by the personality of the founder. These third generation founders are called antediluvians because they existed before the Great Flood. So, in turn, the antediluvians are pretty much, compared to this date and time, about 10,000 years old, give or take. And so they're ancient creatures, so powerful that they're old, and they don't feed on humans anymore. They can only feed from other vampires.
Ooh.
And because vampire blood is more potent. The thing is that as they get older and older, you eventually start losing your grip. So they go into what is known as torpor, which is kind of like a coma, sleep, where they can dream and travel via the mind and all this other stuff. And they usually go in these long fits of sleep. The older you get, the more older vampire you get, the longer you sleep. So the whole point is that these beings are powerful, like so powerful they might as well be a god. Like, them walking out into the sun pretty much would mean nothing to them. Anyway, Cain eventually disappears. The third generation turns on their makers. The second generation kills them for what they did. Cain pretty much cursed them. So each clan's weakness is pretty much the weakness that he gave their founders for doing what they did to their creators. And one of those founders is a vampire known as Salat. And Salat is he's probably the best vampire you're going to find. He's the only one that decided that being a scholar and being peaceful made sense. And he's the only one that made a clan based on doing good. So they all pretty much are striving toward this Galakonda. And the name of that clan is Salabri.
Oh.
Oh.
So Salat created the Salabri. Well, here's the thing. The Salabri weren't very numerous, but they were known as warrior scholars. They had a faction of them that were healers, and the other faction were warriors. And the warriors specifically killed off, fought these vampires that trafficked with demons called Bali. And
like Bali.
Yeah, like as in Baal.
Okay.
It's Baal. The Bali, they always were attempting to come up with a way to open a hell mouth to allow demons to enter the world or whatever. So the Salabri took it upon themselves, and with the help of other vampire clans, to fight the Bali. And meanwhile, the other vampire clans, they fought over territory and control and so forth and so on, pretty much going with human history. All the power games and wars and stuff like that. And each had their different personalities and stuff like that. Well, the Salabri were pretty much predominantly healers, and the distinguishing mark that they have was they had a third eye in the center of their forehead. Usually,
do you have a third eye in the center of your forehead?
No.
Okay.
But they were, well, what ends up happening is there's a group of mages known as the Tremere, and the Tremere are dying because their magic that allowed them to become immortal, are fading. so they have to find another way. So the founder of this group of Tremere is Tremere himself, this mage, this archmage named Tremere, and he wants to find a way. So him and his council, they find out that vampires, and he says, oh, vampires are immortal, so maybe we can take their immortality. So they hunt various vampires and end up using this blood ritual to turn themselves into vampires. Well, no sooner do they do that and they transform the rest of their house into vampires, did they find out that the vampire world is very complex. It's got a lot of statuses, and there's pecking orders, there's various clans, there's territories that they control, there's infighting, and what matters most is your generation, basically how far removed you are from Cain, with the third generation being the most powerful and on down. The thing about that is that, you know, when they found that out, in order for them to be recognized as a true clan or true group in the vampire's eye, they'd have to be a clan, and only for a way for them to do that is have a third generation member. So they came up with various ideas of how to decrease their age, or rather their generation, and the only way you can do that is by delivery, which is basically like cannibalism, vampire cannibalism.
Ew.
Like, when you feed on a human being, you feed on them until their blood is gone. You feed on a vampire, you feed on them till their blood is gone. But delivery is a little bit different. You don't stop feeding after you take the blood. You feed until you eat their soul.
Ew.
And doing so gives you
like
their
buns? Sorry.
Yeah, doing so gives you their power, and it may decrease your age as well. So what ends up happening is that he goes on this whole, Tremere and his clan go on this whole thing. They do all this research. They try to find the sleeping place of an antediluvian, and they find that the Salabri are not very numerous, but they are well respected. But at the same time, they're probably easy to manipulate. So they start this campaign of propaganda saying that the Salabri are actually trying to steal your soul and all this other stuff. So they started daggone exterminating them while the other clans stood by and did nothing. And eventually he finds the resting place of Salat, and Tremere himself goes down there to deliberize him, and Salat lays there, doesn't make a stir, doesn't fight back, anything like that, and just allows it to happen. So then immediately after that, you know, the other members of his of House Tremere, they're controlled by a council of 7. Each member of the council of 7 deliberalized a 4th generation vampire. All of them predominantly Salabri, 4th generation vampires. And Tremere himself deliberalized Salat, making him a 3rd generation vampire. So therefore, now his house is a clan. They become well respected. They become the warlock of the vampire world. And bang, bam, bada boom, no more Salabri, all extinct. Or so it seems. Apparently there's a handful that lives on fighting the Tremere or in hiding or whatever have you. But pretty much the upper echelons of the clan that can do anything serious are pretty much gone, and so is their power base. So for immediately after stealing Salat's soul and everything like that, Tremere goes into torpor, deep sleep, hasn't waked up for years, sleeping under his chantry house in Vienna, being watched over by his second in command. You could say his name, a Norwegian mage by the name of Etrius. And he's basically the voice and hand of his master, and he pretty much controls the clan via the council, so forth and so on. But eventually what ends up happening, mind you, this is like 1300s when he does this. What ends up happening is that all these years he's been in torpor and everything like that, and it turns out that while he was asleep, he was fighting a battle inside his own body between his soul and Salat's, and of course Salat's won, and took control of his body and cast his soul out into a mirror where it's in prison, and walked off into the night, never to be seen again. Which is something you would expect. You pretty much trying to daggone steal the soul and power of an ancient creature, and you never really thought, he never put up a fight or anything.
Oh, so he fights inside.
It was all pretty much a setup, because what happened is he had deliberized other vampires too with another ability, mainly the ability to mold and shape their body to anything they want. And you know, he pretty much set himself up for a freaking downfall, and that was such a
So
weird daggone thing. So that's where my name comes from, and also what I think is very much happening in this scenario.
Oh,
It
right. So you think the Soul
it
King's
all
going to
plays
come out of him?
out. It all plays out very well. You have Salat, which is basically kind of like the Soul King. You have Tremere, which is basically like Bach. You have Etrius, which is basically like Hashwoth. And you know,
Yeah.
it's the old story. Oh, I'm going to take your power for my own, and everything is mine, not realizing what you're really fucking with.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
what better to take somebody out is from the inside out, as opposed to a direct assault. As we see, the Soul King is in no position to daggone directly affect somebody, but the idea that he would have all that power and ability to probably see the future, see it coming, and do nothing, literally nothing to stop it.
yeah.
Not
Perhaps those seals were too powerful. The seals of the Shinigami put on to restrain his power.
maybe so, but
Well,
the
no,
lighting.
I'm not ruling out the possibility that he was like that he's setting him for a setup. I'm saying that like he might have had to resort to a setup because he couldn't like
Well,
really do anything physically. He ain't got no options.
he don't got no limbs, so.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah,
He's
he ain't
got
got no.
nothing.
He ain't got no.
But
He's
the
got a head
idea
and a
that
body.
he can express his will and stuff like that to the royal guard and various things and stuff like that, and not plan or see any of this coming, or if he did and not do anything about it, it seems kind of unlikely unless there's some he knows that Bach doesn't know. And as we've seen before, Bach seems to be very so sure of his own capability.
Yeah,
And the fact
like
that he
he's
got
seen
this
so much, he
far,
knows it's gonna. Yeah.
yeah, the fact that he got so far and he can see so much, yet he didn't see Mimihagi, which isn't also very telling.
Mm.
And now he's absorbed the Soul King, and he's got all this power, but at the same time, also working with my premise. The world is what it is now. He's got to daggone take on. His very existence is that burden. So you can't kill him without
Killing the Soul
destroying,
King.
destroying existence.
So hard to defeat him.
So
Oh.
that would lead me to believe that
All right.
his
Yeah.
absorption was entirely daggone planned, either to give the Soul King a new body or to, as in Bach's case,
Maybe the
uh,
Soul King wants a new
substitute
body.
substitute what that which is already gone. I mean, isn't that what Bach does to all the people that touches him?
Yeah. So maybe like now that Bach has all the power of the Soul King, reality's gonna stop pulling stuff apart, and that can be part of the way. Because really, like it was kind of implied that like as soon as Soul King died, boom, instant annihilation. But it's just been really earthquakes
Well, no, it
for
was
a while
starting to
now.
be. No, things were starting to fall apart until Mimihagi
It,
pulled.
but yeah, but it was like a
Well,
really
were
slow
you
build up.
expecting like disintegration, immediate disintegration? It never happens
The
that
story
way.
ends. The
Have
story
you
ends.
never
Yeah.
seen the
End of
have,
story.
have you
Bleach
never
ends.
seen have you never seen, like, I mean, it never happens that way. Have you never seen the never-ending story when the
I've seen
nothing
it
was
for like
destroying everything? It was destroying it slowly, piece by piece, until nothing was left except the ivory tower and Bastion and the childlike
Jesus.
empress. And then he had to he had to give her a name, and then everything restored itself.
Are you
And
actually
then
referring to the never-ending story? Oh God.
yes, but
Oh,
it never
dear.
goes out quick like a daggone,
I'm
like
not
a.
saying it was like a nuke across all reality, but like it was just like even in the human world, it was like, oh, it knocked over my game console. Because I feel like it should have started out more severe to like let people know they're in deep shit. Because like people who were in Soul Society knew, oh, this probably means the Soul King's dead because this doesn't really happen. But in the human world, it's like, oh, it must be like a minor quake. This is going on for a really long time.
You know what my biggest, you know what I, what not even really my biggest, but what I find interesting or really messed up about even this story arc in general, now that I think about it, is the fact that they went from, you know, grossly over 10, 11 years of this storyline, first Ichigo and meeting Rukia in the human world, and then him having to save her from Soul Society, and then from there, the Rancor attacking, you know, him in the human world, and then him having to go to Hueque Mundo and having the fake Karakura town and, you know, capturing Aizen, and then him, you know, with no powers, trying to get his powers back with the Fullbringers and stuff like that. And then we have this arc, and it seems that arc is making such a big, significant push on the concept of the Soul King, the Shinigami's role in, you know, souls and so forth and so on, but they never made that an important concept of the storyline until this arc, even though it was always supposed to be.
What? I'm a bit confused by what your issue is here.
They never
So
made
wait, hold on. So you're saying that like this arc is setting up like the Soul King and his importance is what Bleach was supposed to focus on like from the start?
Him, no, well, yeah, him, his importance, what he does, what the Shinigami do, the soul collection and all that and everything like that. That was never so much a solidified point. Like it was either, you know, stopping Hollows, went from stopping Hollows to saving Rukia to fighting off the Iran car to stopping Aizen from making a key to get to the Soul Palace and to Ichigo getting his powers back. It was never really a significant point to sit there and say, this is a focal point of this storyline, this is what this is all about, because it never really was all about that until this arc.
Well, I guess I can't really change your stance, but from what I see, it's kind of like a gradual like escalation of like the main theme of the series, which is Ichigo protecting the people he cares about, which it now extends to everyone, like everyone in all the realms.
All, man.
Yeah, I love you all, man, just like Superman. But
like, what does that
wait.
have to do with the Soul King and the Shinigami doing their job?
But like the Soul King, the Soul King is like the whole thing on this arc is more like exploring what like the possibility of the Soul King dying, what that means, because it was brought up for like one chapter in the end of Deicide when Iroha's like, oh, he's a linchpin, and Aizen's like, no, he isn't. You can't replace him.
I wanna
And then
be here.
and the Royal Guard were mentioned for like once or twice, and so it was more to show like it was more to bring the Royal Realm into the story, and it's not so much like making
that's
Soul King
even
and his
what I'm
retainers
really
like.
talking about. I'm not
Wait,
really
no, hold
talking...
on. I'm not done yet, Sal.
Well, but you're not
I'm
even
not
on the same
done
side.
yet. Yeah, I'm talking to the listeners. I know you don't give a fuck about what I say. So like, they're brought in. We all want to know about them, and now it's just kind of exploring like, oh, what if someone wanted to kill the Soul King? What would happen about that? And regardless of how much you care for Bakken is planning plans around plans, it has reached the point where he's killed the Soul King, he's taken his powers, and now we're all left to wonder, what now? And that seems to be what... And Kuma started playing that from like the end of the Aizen arc. And so it wasn't from the beginning of the series that they planned, oh, Soul King gonna mean everything in the end. It's, oh, I want to explore this later on, so let's do it.
No, but the problem is that the way he set it up is what that doesn't make any sense, because his basic premise here is that besides not even counting what the Soul King's role is, but the role of the Shinigami doing, you know, soul balance and everything like that, has largely been non-existent for most of this series. Most of this series, they've been fighting this person or that person. It's not even really determined whether or not they actually had any daggone body actually, you know, doing any consoles or, you know, controlling any soul movement going on and stuff like that, because everybody was too busy daggone fighting Aizen or somebody. And what really is like the biggest issue is that this stuff is fundamental to the stabilization of the Bleach universe. And it did not become an issue until now. But from what we've been led to believe, from what we've seen for the past couple of years, is that, even doing their basic job was never important.
Well, I think for the low level people, maybe.
I mean, yeah, that might very much be true, but we don't know that because, from what we've seen, everybody and their mom has been focused on these minute daggone things and stuff. When in this arc, we seen that even the death of the soul obliteration of a couple of hollows can fuck up the daggone balance. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, like it was established
I-
pretty
I-
early on.
If it's that precarious, if it's that much of a knife edge, shouldn't that have been a focal point throughout the entire series on some level? But it
Yeah.
wasn't.
Hollows? What?
No, he's on about the Quincy's were slaughtered for that reason because they were
Oh
creating
yeah,
imbalance.
well, yeah, because it wasn't like a couple of hollows. It was like
No,
thousands.
they killed a couple of hollows in this arc, whereas Miori had
Oh.
to go handle that situation.
Yeah,
And
he had to go
if
kill a
that
load of people.
situation was if it was so precarious, if it was such on a knife's edge of turning this way or that way from that one incident, then why wasn't that the case on some level described that way, at least throughout the daggone series? It only became important in a big situation in this arc.
Not to mention the amount of Shinigami that have been killed by the Quincy in this arc.
Yes. That alone should have destabilized.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, it really does not. I mean, what I think I'm having issue with here is the concept of consistency, maybe continuity,
Yeah.
because it seems to be all over the board. I understand he's trying to create a narrative in a certain area, but you can't create something one place and say that this is significant and important and then totally forget about it
Mhm.
and then come back to it years later and say it's even more important than I previously said, but I didn't care nothing about it because I was too busy doing this over here. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's a little bit too. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously we're going to look a little bit too more into it because we're grown and we see, and we're not like 10, 12, 11, 12-year-old kids
Speak for yourself.
watching the show and can go that deep into it. But I mean, as we are grown people, we have all read everything from manga, comic books to
Mhm.
serious novels. When we look at something, so obviously we're going to notice some certain things that just seem out of place. And I don't expect everything to be a great work of art. I don't expect Kubo to write the greatest novel ever written. I don't expect this to be the Grapes of Wrath or War and Peace or anything. I'm just saying that there is a fundamental problem here when you set something up as important, totally ignore it, and then the next time you bring it up, it's more important than you originally said, and we're not supposed to daggone question about, well, how much importance are you really placing on this when you didn't seem to care about it for like 10 years?
Yeah.
Like,
Whatever.
so you have the Soul King, who's supposed to be the linchpin of existence, yet his defense, the defense that we have for him is essentially consists of five people, five very powerful and skilled people, but five people nonetheless, who you pretty much brushed aside like nothing. You've got 70 something barriers between the dimension where he lives and the other dimension. You swept that aside like it was nothing over some fucking clothes. And it's just like, okay, for somebody, for the being that's supposed to be protecting all of existence, holding it all together, he doesn't seem that much protected as I was expecting him to be.
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't he have like layers and layers and layers of defense? If the Royal Guard are going to be, his primary daggone people, they should be sitting right there in the damn throne room with him, and they should have had to go through like I don't know how many
They
different
should have had
types
more
of
members of the Royal
yeah.
Guard, honestly.
They should have had different levels of Royal Guard members or something like that, like they do with the Go to 13. They should have like general captain level or whatever, like the five, and then everybody else below them, and you have to get through them daggone people. And of course, Bleach probably would have took 20 more years to finish then, but you know,
One attack per
Oh
chapter.
God, please don't let it finish when I'm near 50. Please don't let it finish when I'm near 50.
yeah, like
You won't be able to read it anymore. You'll be like, "What? I look at the pretty pictures.
I can't see. You know,
I
like,
have no eyes."
but
Yeah,
you know,
how fast do you think my body is degrading here, people?
Now it hurts to look.
but this is that was basically my biggest issue, you know, especially remembering that part. But you know, goes along with my issue with this arc in general is like, you know, Kubo was known from the beginning for like just, you know, putting shit together off the top of his head, not really planning it, and then he started to do so. He started to plan and everything like that, and then you get to this arc, and it just seems like a really hodgepodge jumble of ideas. Let's throw everything together and make it work. So this is like going back to this chapter. We have Rurika and Yukio with this thing, and they input the Valley of Screams, something that Zill even points out is entirely freaking memories of whatever movie
Memories
made.
of nobody.
Yeah, memories of nobody movie made, and they took that out of the movie and made it a focal point of, oh yeah, well, this is the reason why this, and it's just like a plan out of nowhere, and it's kind of funny that you're like, oh, yo, horror came up with this plan. Well, why would he come up with that plan? What was the likelihood that he anticipated that you were going to get knocked off the daggone building and had to get back up there and you're going to do a sneak attack to do it? Because if that was the case, shouldn't that have been
Not to mention the original attack was a sneak attack, since like
yeah,
he came up behind him.
exactly. So by that notion, shouldn't that plan have been in action when you were going up there in the first place? Like, you know, it just seems like a lot of this stuff is just like coming out of nowhere, including the people. Like, oh yeah, we gotta throw Grimjaw in there and Nell. Yeah, let's throw these three Fullbringers in here. Oh, let's make it 5 Fullbringers. Let's bring all of Azord and you know, and yeah, and the next arc, you know, they probably gonna have to bounce. Like
the next arc is an arc after this final arc.
No,
the final arc.
Not
right?
The next chapter is probably
Bleach
going to be here's Jin and Gokoga and them. I'm like, wait a minute, what aren't they? Wait a minute, aren't you dead? He's like, yeah, we're back again.
Oh, no. You know what the next arc is going to be? The next arc is going to be Ashido.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been
trying to do anything with. Oh yeah, I finally can help you. Like.
Yeah, no, a lot of people have been wondering if the value of Screams being canon somehow equals the entire movie being canon.
Oh God.
I'm just like, what? I'm like, how the fuck does that work? Like, oh, because wait, so are you saying that because like Faded Black has Shinigami and Zanpakuto, therefore it's canon? All right, okay, cool. I see how it works. I gotcha.
Yeah, well, the day when that's canon, then you know, I guess that's the day when 100 Itsukasos, is canon. And stuff like that from your Zanpakuto, because that's possible.
I said we burn the wiki and run.
Yeah, this will go down in flames.
I burn my images, you burn my images.
Yeah, we're burning mine too. All right,
that's okay. If you don't care about yours, I care.
I mean,
I spent money on mine, bitch.
I mean, this is just basically my every chapter critique, but I at this point it's just going along for the fucking ride. The only happiness I can receive anymore is seeing a Zanpakuto release.
That's what makes you happy. Like everyone's like, oh, my criticism. It's part of this arc. I'm French.
I'm French. Wait, what?
Like
it's not like a French person complaining. Like, oh, you Americans, you are so ignorant. Oh. This arc, it's so bad. Oh, can I smoke my cigarettes? Oh,
like it's just. Ugh. So now I just have to like comment on myself, like thinking this storyline of how utterly. I don't know. I've just been. It just does not seem.
This seems to have been building up for a while.
What?
Your feelings on the matter?
Oh, they haven't reached the
No,
climax yet.
this is
Crescendo.
The crescendo will be when Ichigo goes Bankai for 5 chapters.
I'm not. I mean, the good thing is that I'm not alone in this.
Gon and
No,
Nenkai.
no,
I'm not alone
I
in
mean
this
like he
in
used it for
criticism
five
of.
chapters. Not it takes 5 chapters for him to
He
activate. What
used it
the
for
hell?
like 2 arcs straight.
Yeah, but it's
No,
not
his new
like
Bankai, his new Bankai, his
Oh, his new
better
one.
one. Yeah, not
it's,
you kidding
Sorry,
me?
it's
Like
not like I'm in
he was
the
he was always in Bankai.
Yeah.
you know, obviously there's obviously people that, have a lot of issue with this arc. Our very own Arankar being one of them. That's why you don't see him that much. Because to be
Crying in a
honest,
corner,
with
dying.
you, he
He hates y'all.
barely pays attention to each chapter. That's how unconcerned he is with it. Like
Unless,
he
unless one, his guy had died, or two, Fulbringer came back. That's what caused him to pay attention.
no, he doesn't care for this arc. Probably even less than me on a level because at least I read the chapter when it comes out. I don't know that he does, or if he does, I don't think it's a priority for him anymore because he is so disappointed in where this has gone. So, you know, and yeah, I mean, I'm just here for the ride at this point. It's just like what other shit are they gonna pull out their ass? Like even Yorohara's plans in this arc don't even seem like Yorohara's plans. It's just like I'm
They're
just
actually
winging it. I'm
they were
just winging
Eisen's
it.
plans.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Eisen planned them. It was all part of Eisen.
And Eisen planned on plot Kai.
Yes,
Yeah, see,
Eisen weaponized that plot armor.
even
Wouldn't the
the
sheer irony be if Eisen got to become the new Soul King and he was so powerless he just stood there in a box?
Oh yeah, no, that would be like the greatest possible fate for him. Like I'm a Soul King, and just gonna sit here on your ass, holding this together, and you can't do anything, can't talk, can't blink,
Well,
can't
he's had
can't
plenty
eat.
of practice in Mukin, hasn't he?
No, all he'll be doing is monologuing to himself over and over again for all eternity
Yeah.
what's the
about his
funny
power and
thing
plans.
about the whole thing is like, we used to make that joke, oh yeah, Eisen planned it, Eisen did this, Eisen did that. This is not even, I mean, it's gotten to the point in the series, it's gotten to the point where even Eisen is at a loss. He's just like, what the
Yeah,
fuck is happening right now?
yeah.
Yeah, what the hell? I really wanted this to happen? What?
This is my plan Z, not my plan B. What the fuck?
He's like, I don't even know what's happening right now. A guy who can fuck with my my Retsu, like what the hell,
I'm sitting on a chair that's like on a higher level than me because it's a son of a Shinigami and a human, and Jesus Christ.
He's like, I'm in bonds that I can't get out of. I've got Shinsui coming to get me. I didn't expect that. Like all
I
this
never
shit
asked
that's
for this.
happened since Aizen's reintroduction back into the storyline. He has pretty much been on the outside looking in, like, and as powerful as he is really at a loss. Like he is impotent in a way, incapable of enacting anything, and
Well,
even
that's
his
Meguri's fault. We all know that.
plans don't have any plans because
Even
No,
his plans
do
don't
you
have
notice
plans.
he's like,
What?
it's like we spend chapters of, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and then it's like,
yeah,
dun dun
even
dun, and
even
then, yeah, no.
yeah, even in this arc, he has no plan for anything because what is there to plan? What is there to enact? He has nothing. He has no he has
He has no
no subordinates. He has no way of
Sanpakuto.
moving around. Yeah, he has no way of moving around to initiate certain things or whatever. I mean, literally, this entire arc, he has been the opposite of everything we have known him to be throughout the series. He's a spectator. He's a spectator.
Because he's not prepared, to be
Yeah.
honest.
He's not prepared. He doesn't have anything planned, and even Yorohara's plans seem like half-ass running, attempts at trying to fix something because as it's been shown in the arc that he's kind of at a loss for what the hell is going on here. His shit is science and technology and stuff like that. These Soul King, Bach thing and stuff like that. He's just. I mean, luckily he and Mayuri are of a mindset where they can easily adapt to a situation. And that's their saving grace in this situation. But long-term planning outside of that, you know, I think what Yorihara's biggest contribution in this arc is how to get from point A to point B.
Well, that
Oh, and the Bankai.
and the Bankai. Don't forget the Bankai.
Don't forget the Bankai.
What
And
Bankai?
When they got their Bankai back?
yeah, he made the pills.
Oh
So
yeah,
they never
yeah,
get-
yeah.
And
Pill popping.
the gate to the, well, I guess that counts as also gain point A to point B, but the gateway that they're making right now, that's his shit.
Yeah,
Well,
no, that's what I said.
what he was working on the entire time when he was in Waking Mundo and with the Vizard and everything like that. Everything was basically as a plan to get from point A to point B. So he got the energy necessary to project the makeshift cylinder into to the Soul King Palace. He's trying to get the stabilized doorway so they get up to Soul King Palace. Everything is essentially just like that, and then of course he had the Bankai thing. And the armband he made for Nell. But other than that, what other possibility does he have? Plan does he have? And it's kind of like nothing, because what can he do? I mean, even when Aizen was the bad guy, his plans were effectively very daggone good. And if it wasn't for the Hogyoko acting as plot armor, Aizen would have been dead 1,000 times over.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and Wonderwise.
But
There
the
was,
difference here is he's dealing with gods, and their offspring, and that does change some things.
That changes dynamic because it's not the same rules. Like, he's done the study of the Shinigami body, and most bodies in the Bleach universe are pretty much similar. Quincy are essentially human. Rancor essentially have some characteristics that are hollow, and some characteristics that are Shinigami. So he can work with that, because that's what he knows. He's done his study. He knows how to handle that. This is a whole different situation. Like, Mimihagi is something of legend, of stories and stuff like that. Not something of science. Spiritual being, but pretty much a concept beyond his understanding, because it's essentially a god that souls pray to. Like, what do you do with that information? Like, I've heard of it, but I don't really know much. What do you do with that?
Every atheist's worst nightmare.
Yeah, like a god souls pray to. I mean, I remember when Hachi was fighting Barrigan, and he's like, pray to whatever you god you hold dear and all this other stuff. And then Hachi's like, well, we don't really have gods that I know.
Wait, what? No, that was a Kaku and Pao.
What?
Kaku was, no, remember Kaku and Pao? Like, Pao was like, or like, Kaku's like, I'm gonna pray you're gonna give me a good fight, and Pao was like, do you even have a god to pray to? And the guy was like, I guess we don't. I'll just pray to your god instead.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, but I believe Hachi and Barrigan have a similar conversation.
Yeah, no, well, like, yeah, no, it was, Hachi was like, we're gods of
Barrigan's
death.
like,
We
gods for death, yeah.
we don't know what it means to have a god, so please forgive us, God of Mundo.
Yeah,
So
and we're finding out that is not necessarily true. They don't necessarily worship the Soul King, but they might as well.
yeah.
They had freaking people for centuries worshiping his hand. So like,
To take his lungs.
Yeah.
Give me
You
my
know.
lungs. Sorry.
and Ukitaki's whole chanting thing was essentially, begging for help from what essentially would be a god under any other circumstance. So it's pretty telling that the science people are kind of out of their realm here. Like, this is based on the Soul King is based on the concept of a force that's so powerful it set everything that exists into motion. So you could probably try to scan that with science, but as we've seen in this arc, there's things that even their instruments go beyond understanding. So
They're
Very
instruments.
much.
Sorry, I'm stopping. Sorry, I'm sorry if I'm really quiet. I'm feeling a bit
So
nauseous.
Sal, I mean I'm Sal. So son,
No, I'm Sal.
son,
What you on about? I'm
now
Sal.
it's your turn
Did
to
you
talk
daggone
for.
lie? I'm Sal.
It's time for you to talk for an hour.
Me to talk for an hour? Really? I just said I was nauseous 2 seconds ago.
And
Oh,
not about your
okay.
nauseousness. You're talking about Bleach.
You
Oh,
mean they don't
goodness.
want to hear where I got my name from?
Nope. No.
Okay. Alright,
no
well,
one, no one cares about your problems. What's going on in Bleach?
what's going on in Bleach? Let's see. What is going on in Bleach? Right. I can't remember. Okay, right. Right. Sort of glad that Neliel come in and kind of spoiled Grimjo's moment. It was kind of cool. It's kind of like, yay, screw you, I'm here. Um, yeah, Grimjo hasn't changed, of course, but still boring as hell. Just thinks he can beat everyone. And I just love Neliel, like, shut up, you know I'm gonna win. And then Ruruka. Who's Ruruka?
The
Uh,
Fullbringer.
yeah, I know. But yeah, she was kind of, yeah, it was kind of okay to see her again because we knew she was going to appear again. And then everyone's like, what happened to, did you notice in the comments? Everyone's like, but Yukio doesn't have his power. How is he here? It's like, how did
That
he not
was
have his
that was
power?
that
How
was
did he
one
have his...
person who confused
That
him
was
for Jackie.
Jackie.
Yeah,
Yeah, Jackie lost her powers.
well, yeah, one guy confused him for Jackie.
He
Yeah.
didn't have not have his powers. He was just defeated.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just got froze. I love that bit. It was
The
like,
fact that Hitsugai didn't kill him is just like okay.
no, I love that moment. Do you remember that moment? It was like, he got all these monsters to chase Hitsugai, so Hitsugai just flashed that behind him. It was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which makes no sense when you think about it because Yukio is human and he was encased in ice and I don't think any human I know can survive that. So
And no, what was it they
Sal,
said
are
in
you
Titanic?
on?
Like, water that
Dude,
cold hits you like knives all over your body, you know?
yeah,
yeah.
That's
I would
Leo
not,
said it.
I would not ask you to apply ice physics to the world of Bleach, especially now after like the whole ass not surviving absolute zero, you know, all
Oh,
that
did
stuff.
he? He didn't survive Absolute Zero, didn't he? He got frozen and shattered.
No, he didn't. He got okay when Riku's in Shikai. She went to Absolute Zero, cut him. He got frozen at Absolute Zero, and then he came back and he's like Volsending, Tatar Foras.
But I always find that very weird
Oh
because
yeah,
you could never do
that makes
He
absolute
no
zero.
sense.
in fact he defrosted from it.
That makes no sense either.
I can defrost from something that matter doesn't exist
Because
at.
well like
If you're gonna
physics.
do Absolute Zero, then you gotta go all the way
Well,
with it. Like you can't just daggone half as oh yeah, we're just gonna we want
well,
to show her Bankai so bad.
to be fair, if you go Absolute Zero all the way, then that means that once you go there, you can't go back, and that
Yeah,
everything in the
absolute
world
zero is the
stops.
non-existent of matter at all.
And that means that like everything in all of Soul Society just stops.
So
I
that's
don't.
technically
So,
a
That's not
flaw in
necessarily. That's not
Rukia's.
necessarily true. Like you know,
but that's
it's pretty
all
much.
the way.
That's not all the way. I'm talking about. I mean, when I say all the way, I mean if you're going to go there with her power having to do with Absolute Zero, then you have to have the ramifications of it being done. So if she cuts him, she's Absolute Zero at Shikai, and she cuts him and he freezes. That's it for him.
Yeah, well, that was
No
stupid.
But then we couldn't have.
Volscentic, no
Then we couldn't have
Bankai
seen
being shown for
we
her in that
couldn't have seen
situation.
her like hastily unveiled Bankai. So
Because the
whatever.
exact opposite of what she's doing is what Yamamoto did. And he went all the way. There was repercussions to getting cut.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but to
There
be
was
fair,
repercussions to the fight.
in that same fight, having a second sun on the surface of Soul Society didn't just burn everyone alive. So,
No, it didn't burn everybody alive, but it would have eventually.
exactly. But it wasn't
It's a
played
slow
as
song.
it wasn't played super duper realistically, and neither was Absolute Zero. It was more of like a cool factor than anything else, I think, from to
Yeah,
include
it
it.
should have just been cool, like froze, like the coldest
No,
you
I
could
mean
be.
I mean like cool as in awesome, not like cool as in
Oh,
cool.
alright,
Now
sorry.
she could have. I mean, and you know what's actually funny now that I think about it is that actually does work in the exact opposite of Yamamoto, because like I mean, obviously not in this current form, but you know, after a couple of years and a lot of daggone, a lot of training and maybe, as the captain of the 13th Division, that now that Yukitake sacrificed himself for no fucking reason, um,
God, just gotta throw that in, don't you? No fucking reason.
Has to keep reminding me you want to make me
she
cry.
she essentially would be the ice version of Yamamoto, which is so funny because you would probably think, oh, it hits a Gaia, but this is the interesting concept between having two people with ice Zanpakutos. I really just did not understand the concept. This guy is supposed to have the most powerful one, but Rukia's use of absolute zero, I mean, I think it probably works the best
Yeah,
in
probably.
conjunction
Well,
in conjunction with being the opposite of Yamamoto, because if Yamamoto goes into Bankai and he stresses that I'm going to only use this for 5 minutes, otherwise I'm going to burn all of existence, then it would stand to reason that she's like, oh, I'm going to only use this for a certain amount of time because I'm frozen as well.
yeah.
Yada yada
Well,
yada.
to be fair, when it was all like his guy is the strongest ice type,
Or
like that was back when Rukia just had a regular, like not weak, but like pretty
it was
non-versatile
just the most
Shikai.
beautiful. Soyo Shirayuki was
Yeah,
just beautiful.
and now
So
now
cute.
Now
it might have to revise their standings on most beautiful and most powerful Zanpakuto.
yeah,
Absolute
Yeah.
Zero, and it looks pretty. Yay!
yeah, it's a contender most definitely, and the very fact that I can see it possibly being the counter to what Yamamoto brings, because I mean, let's be realistic, it's pretty daggone amazing that I can fathom in my mind a situation where she's freeze something and she only does it for a certain amount of time, because that right now, I mean, what was it? Was it a cold mist, or was it? Yeah, it was kind of like a cold mist.
It was like a really like it was like
But
insanely
it
cold
was
mist that just
yeah,
froze everything.
yeah. It's basically an area effect cold mist. But what
And
I visualized that at its full potential being, after years of training and stuff like that, I visualized that being just as dangerous as Yamamoto's, just being active. So she would have
well,
to like,
Yeah, she
otherwise,
had to go really slow, remember?
yeah,
yeah.
otherwise it's frozen. And
Well,
yeah,
just like how Yamamoto's Bankai killed him in the flames of the sun. Anything it touched him just got burned it instantly,
hmm
like the sword. It's similar to like Rugia's Hakuno Togame has something similar because like when someone touches her, they start freezing as well. Like when Byakuya was like putting his hand on her, like you could see his fingers starting to be encased in ice just from
yeah.
touching her. And so,
There's
so, so
a lot of work that has to go into realizing the potential of that Zanpakuto and that Bankai. So I mean, yeah, but the fact that I can see that being the case, that's kind of amazing. And to be fair, I think is obviously a different kind of thing. Hers is more the element at its
it's more
most powerful,
it's like
just like
temperature control, really,
yeah.
more than ice.
It's more than it's temperature control. Let's put it that way, because it's basically thermokinesis, at its best, whereas his is transforming water into ice, and it's more localized onto himself, manipulating the ice, as
Yeah,
opposed to
hers
Yeah.
is more
her.
temperature based in her
Yeah,
Bankai.
as opposed to
Yeah.
her manipulating the temperature. So, but that temperature is the defining thing, because even now that I think about it, even Hitsugai is not even with Hitsugai having ice and everything like that, he is not really the opposite of Yamamoto.
Yeah,
It's
he's an ice dragon.
she is the opposite of Yamamoto, because Yamamoto's is fire, true enough, but his Bankai and even his Shikai to some extent affects the area
Temperature.
around him significantly, to the point that it can cause damage.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
And
like the two of them, yeah, her Shikai's also ice, but
Hitsugai
then it
only
becomes
only
temperature.
has like one like massive area of effect thing, and that's the Tenso
yeah,
Jurin. So
that hit that the one technique, the automatic technique that closes him, and and they said it's not really fire, it just makes it look that way. It's actually heat around
yeah,
him. Is basically him controlling temperature at the opposite end of the spectrum of Rukia.
Yeah.
So it's like them doing the same thing. If you can't touch him because it's too hot, you can't touch her because she's too cold.
Yep.
So she's well on her way of having a Zanpakuto with similar capabilities, unique to her, of course, but similar capabilities to his. And that just gave me an idea, son. Mark that down. We need to do, along with your answers thing, we should do a Zanpakuto talk
Oh goodness.
where we discuss Zanpakutos and how
Yeah, well,
amazing.
we should do like origins and details on each Sanpakuto like for a wee series.
We should make Zill host them.
Really?
Seal's topic corner.
You want me to talk about canon material? Okay, all right.
You said that,
Yeah,
not us.
maybe for once he can learn something instead of me having to teach him everything.
Oh, shut up!
Ooh.
Burn.
Well, you fucked. I'll fuck you up. I'll be scrub when I'm ripped.
I'm ripped, or like ribbed.
So you want me to host it because I've actually watched the Zanpakuto arc more than once? Okay, all right, let's do it.
Ooh,
Well,
that's not a
well,
Sanpakuto arc. That's a
we don't-
Sanpakuto spirit arc.
we're talking
It's
about
the Zanpakuto arc. That's what everyone calls it.
it would be about Zanpakutos and not about that fucking arc.
All right, whatever. That's fine. I don't mind. I mean,
but yeah,
I feel like we should probably try and do that tomorrow instead of today because it's like 3 a.m. for Sun. She's feeling like ass.
It's okay.
So-
It's fine. It's
she
okay.
don't got no life.
Screw
I
you.
guess
All
that's
she
what
does
to
is
worry about.
take care of her cousin's children and go to work. She don't got no man, no joy in life. All she cares
You ain't
about
got
is
no woman.
Ooh! Oh
Excuse
no, she did. Oh,
you.
oh.
Unlike you, I gets mine. So
I could get mine if I wanted to get mine. I'm
Show
quite
Jesus.
fine.
you've had someone who wanted to get
You've
you
had yours
and you said no.
I've had someone. I love the way you said singular there. I have had plural.
at once. Jesus Christ. Dicks
No,
and
not
ears.
at plural.
Okay.
Not at once. Oh dear God, no.
Dicks and ears. Oh my goodness, you weren't kidding.
Wet willies.
Is that what they be doing over here in Ireland? Is that how
That-
they get?
That's the kick, I guess.
That is just.
Um, How about before this goes any further off topic, we end the podcast?
Should we really?
Oh, wait, we're probably gonna start a new one for the
Okay.
answers and stuff. But I think we've covered our bit in the chapter. I like it. Sal's
Okay, well,
bad.
in
and
summary,
Sun was okay.
well, yeah, it was all right. Yeah, Nelly L. I would have preferred a wee bit more explanation over what the actual bracelet does, other than just, oh, I can just do what I want now.
You know what amused me about the manga panda translation was like I can transform into anything I want. So like it implied that she could turn into like I don't know like a dog.
It
Whatever.
just sort of, the only thing that I really kind of felt about it was she just showed up and just went, oh, Urahara did this for me, and I can just be adult or whatever form I want. And I kind of felt a wee bit like, oh my God, you've just given so much excuse to fan fiction people now. Oh my God, they're just going to create so many different Miri Sues, and then they're going to be like, oh, look at me, I'm trapped in this form, but no, I'm not. No.
Are you actually implying that like that wasn't happening as soon as Kubo introduced the concept of an Espada being trapped in the form of a weak child?
Actually, I have read a fan fiction of actually.
Have you seen a fan fiction where the character wasn't like 5 different races with 10 different tag on levels of freaking 10 levels that go above Bankai and stuff like that?
I have
And
read a fan fiction on fanfiction.net.
Yeah, no,
For Bleach,
I
hold on. I have read a fanfiction on fanfiction.net of Bleach of Yachiru actually being a big-breasted woman, but
Oh, of
turning
course.
into a child. Yeah. And you know who she
I
bugs?
have-
Byakuya. For not
well,
giving her candy.
I don't know that I've read that, but I've seen pictures of her that are of her as an adult, which are actually pretty awesome.
Yeah.
no, I
Oh, what,
have
with tits?
I think
No, I don't think she's not Rangiku in these pictures.
I think Manga Panda provided the level above Bonkai in this chapter, the Donkai.
The Donkai.
Yep,
Okay.
they don't know what there's between a ka and a ga in fucking Japanese. Jesus Christ.
The donk. Oh yeah, I read that. The donkai. Yeah, I was there. I was
Good.
present. But yeah, I'm sorry, right? We should probably end this and yeah. Okay, well, so yeah, it was quite a good chapter. It was nice to see everyone. Um, of course, at the end of it, it's like dun dun dun. I'm the new Soul King.
I'm
But yeah,
Jesus.
I am Jesus.
Just Liesu.
And on the third day, he will rise again. But yeah, yeah. So night night, guys. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to follow Twitter, Facebook. What else? And other
Uh,
stuff.
Instagram,
Subscribe.
Grinder.
Tinder. Don't forget Tinder.
Tinder. Oh my God, I actually figured out what Tinder was. I've never actually seen it before.
Tinder and
We'll
and
be
and for and Grinder and
yeah,
Grinder.
we'll be posting
and
pictures
What
of
is it for
Sun with
women then?
and don't get to follow Pornhub.
Pornhub.
all of it. Yeah, we're posting Sun's secret dick and ear sex tape to Pornhub soon, so
Yeah.
I would
Well,
advise you look out for that.
well, really, guys, y'all want
Everybody
to
come out and
SUNScribe?
support Sun. That's her new
SUNScribe.
job.
My new job. What my new job is?
Screaming in pain while being fucked on camera. All right, that'll go over well.
No, if y'all want to SUNScribe to the channel, that'd be great. We'd love you even more. But yeah, or subscribe. I just like saying SUNScribe now because I typed it out.
Sublurb. Submarine the channel.
No, no, SUNScribe.
Submarine.
SUNScribe.
Anyway,
Subscribe.
that's it. Bye.
Okay, yeah. Night night, guys.
Super acceleration!
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Stop saying that! Hello!
Hello? Who is it?
It is King Arthur, and these are my knights of the Round Table. Whose castle is this?
I don't want to talk to you no more, you empty-headed animal food trough whopper. I fart in your general direction. Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelt of elderberries.
Strike him, Centurion, very roughly.
I'm calling it the end.
Dun, dun, dun.